Greetings comic lovers, and welcome back to Casually Comics, the channel where we chat all things comics, from reviews of comics new and old to history to anecdotes to wherever our whims take us. About a month ago, at the time of this recording, we discussed some excitement and then, well, disappointment when a mysterious number 4 appeared in webbing. This was on Twitter, and people thought it heralded all kinds of things, like that 4th Sam Raimi movie. It didn't. Instead, it was counting down to a J.J. Abrams comic that he was writing with his son. The son in question being Henry Abrams. This was roughly around the time that J.J. Abrams secured some rather lucrative Disney deals, so well, you can imagine what was said, or you can go back and watch the video. That way you don't have to imagine. Card link. So the time has come. The time is now. Cadaverous is here. That's the villain's name. He's been unleashed, and well, there's a lot to talk about, both the comic itself and some of the discussions surrounding it. If you've never really been ready to board a hype train, hit that like button. I live my life watching the hype train go by. I don't know what excitement is anymore, except when it suddenly takes me by surprise, like Persona 5 Royale. So firstly, this comic has some taglines that may, depending upon how you look at it, put you in a certain mood before you start reading it, such as the most shocking comic of all time, which to me reads very much as,
challenge accepted.
I've read The Boys. Hit me. Even if you add Spider-Man to that, still, there's another kind of out there AU issue where he accidentally killed Mary Jane because of his radioactive semen, so what you got? Also, Sins Past, the issue where it turned out that Gwen Stacy was having a secret affair with Norman Osborn while she was with Peter and got pregnant with twins, and he never noticed and then had the twins, and that's why she died. I wish I could forget that. What was shocking about that was the fact that it got greenlit. Let's do this. And this was recently released, so get ready to get your spoiler on. The cover is that same shot of MJ about to plunge to her death right off of Peter's lap, because she is in no way attached to anything. There are 2 covers. There's one with Cadaverous in the back, and then there is a faded background of, well, black to red, like one of my thumbnails. So for some, it's a simplistic dream that lets you focus on the 2 characters, and for others, it's a really... that's it. Personally, I just really want Peter to get a good grip on MJ. Please hold on to her. She's precious cargo. Page 1 is entirely black with one text bubble that says Tiger. On the one hand, this is very dramatic, but it's a very cinematic style of dramatism. We'll see this throughout this comic. It's laid out like a storyboard, meant for visual adaptation as a TV show or movie, but it is rarely laid out optimally as a comic, which is its own medium and has its own rules and also its own ways to be creative within it. It's far more flexible than a pitch board, but it also requires a certain type of thought process to really embrace for what it is, and people coming to it from outside of that can't always really get into that mold. So for the most part, this is gonna look how a comic is supposed to look, but it's not really gonna push anything, which most comics don't. I'm only bringing this up because there was so much hubbub and build-up leading up to this comic. It was gonna change the world. Like Lost. So this opening, while evocative, also makes one remember that this is a mini, which are each only about 25 to 30 pages. So you just spent one whole page on one word. You can tell a lot of story on one page. You can divide a page into many panels, and potentially the same feeling could have been evoked, and you could have told more story. But let us go on. Tiger. We see MJ running through scenes of carnage towards Peter on a bridge. General Carnage, not Carnage the character. To which I say, MJ, you should know better. You know what happens to women that Peter loves on bridges. Get off. Peter's in a bad way. His arm is all mangled, his mask is coming off, he's bleeding. It's clearly a very hard-fought battle. But still, him and MJ have a moment on this bridge where they talk about how he would love it. If you're up on your tropes, you know exactly what this means, but I'll let you wait for it. It's coming very soon anyway. Now let us meet Cadaverous. He has a bunch of henchmen, or robots. Minions, I guess would be the best word, who all look like pennants, and they attack. Help us, Spider-Man. We need you. I like that giant robot Cadaverous has a cape. He looks cool. Robots get cold too. Anyway, MJ dies, skewered dramatically on page 7. Yeah. The pathos for you feeling anything about this is riding off of your prior knowledge of their relationship, because as I just said, this is page 7, so You really haven't had time to establish anything if you're a newer reader who perhaps knew Peter with somebody else or is just picking up this comic because you heard that J.J. Abrams was doing it. Anyway, she's dead, Jim. Also, my sympathy is a bit down. I told you about running onto bridges. You know what happened to Gwen. You don't bring a nice long coat to a robot fight. You stay in and watch it from home. We get a not quite repeat of the famous panel where Peter swung in to get Gwen, and then suddenly it's just MJ's funeral, and he's there with their son, which is supposed to be the shocking big reveal. Gasp. However, if you've read a lot of the canon, this isn't surprising at all. There have been multiple different AU stories where they have children, and in main canon they were supposed to have a child before he retconned their marriage out of existence. It was really traumatic. You saw their daughter who would now never be. However, this reveal is also part of the reason why the cover is so plain. The cover is cover baiting. It's hoping you're going to pick it up because you're going to see Spider-Man and MJ together, because there is still a lot of nostalgia and push for these two together post One More Day, which broke them up via Demon divorce. They're kind of getting back together, but it's not the same as it was back in the day. So this is playing off of people's feelings and desires to see them together. So this cover, clearly a tactic to make sure that you didn't scare people away, because they gotta spend $4.99 on this, and they're not paying for Ben Parker. They don't know who he is yet. Also, Peter had an arm off and was alone. How did he win this fight? The pastor at this funeral is giving the world's most expository eulogy as well. Spider-Man saved us all. He always does. 1. How? There were tons of robots and he was being swarmed and no one else was there. 2. This is inappropriate funeral fare and doesn't really make sense with how she died. If the narrative is that everybody was saved, that can't be true if she's here and the official version is that she died on the bridge. However, if that was the official version, that wouldn't be the eulogy you were giving. So if the official version that they gave to people was that she died somewhere else or from an unrelated but kind of tied to an event, why would you bring that up at her funeral? This is a lot of exposition meant to elicit emotion, and it certainly brings it out of Peter and Ben, but not from me, for I have the stone cold heart of an ice queen. 12 years later! Full black page with one phrase. We meet again. This is also 100% a panel that you see in a movie. You have seen this many times in movies. The panels of Ben getting ready are well laid out. Cool use of the comic book space. So, Ben Parker. He's ginger. He's an edgy teen who stands up to bullies, unlike his father. Unlike his father before powers. He throws them so hard that they burst through the doors of classrooms. He's very strong and extra. Luckily, he only gets sent to the principal's office. This is the Marvel Universe. He's lucky they didn't call some kind of anti-mutant squad or something. Ben is in the office telling the principal how the kid deserved it, how they all deserved it. And am I the only one who's slightly concerned about this? I know we're just supposed to go with the stuff the bully was saying and be like, yeah, he did deserve it, but also, he deserved it. That's anti-hero speak. That's 2 more text bubbles and a bit more dramaticism away from supervillain speech. At least it is in comic book archetypes. Am I alone? Peter shows up to pick Ben up, but it's clear he's abandoned him and dumped him on Aunt May. Also, there's a press pass on the dash of his car, so we're to assume that's what he's been doing. For now. They proceed to argue. I was protecting someone, and how did that go for you? As if you would understand that. When have you ever tried to help anybody but you? Whatever's going on with you, it's gotta stop. I'm doing the best I can. I need you to at least try to do the same. This scene is well put together and there's a lot of well conveyed raw emotion. It feels like a father-son argument, and in this case you can feel the fact that a father and son wrote it together and that it helped out with some of the pathos. Also, the art in this sequence is really, really good. The raw emotion on Ben's face when he glares at him, that's an expression that many people have seen on a teen's face. It's really, really well conveyed. So let me ruin it for you the same way that my thought process ruined it for me. Peter has a hook hand. It's been there since the funeral, but for some reason I really started focusing on it in this sequence. Why does he have a hook hand? This is the Marvel Universe. Reed couldn't make him a hand. Tony couldn't make him a hand. The Asgardians couldn't forge him a hand. Bucky has a metal arm. Thor has a golden arm. Cable has a techno-organic arm. In a universe with so many in-canon explanations for how his hand could be replaced and what different types of prosthetics he could get, I'm gonna need an explanation for why he has a hook. Because right now, the headcanon I'm going with is that everybody came and offered him stuff, but he was like, nah, I'm good. This hook goes better with my guilt complex. Also, when I grow my I give up beard, I can cosplay as a pirate. I need an answer. Does the rest of the Marvel Universe exist? If so, why? Did Cadaverous do something that made it impossible for him to have a replacement replacement hand? These are questions that need answering. So after his father ditches him on the curb, after he asked for it, but still it was one of those, fine, you can leave me here, I guess, if you have more important things to do, and Peter is like, yeah, okay, bye. After that, his powers start to manifest, and he actually rips the whole door off of its frame. This is the front door. Miraculously, nobody sees this, and then somehow he replaces the front door before Aunt May comes home, because she comes in and is like, new door. And I'm just like, this is going up there with the hook. So how did he replace the door? How did he pay for it? Who did it for him? These are important questions. This only happened a few hours ago. How did the door guy get there that fast and replace it? But I'll never have that answer because it's time to meet Ito Faye, which I'm only telling you about because the comic insists on calling her by her full name, constantly. Hey, are you that sophomore, Ito Faye? Claim it, Ito Faye! Name, first, last, Ito Faye. What was her name? Jane Doe? I can't seem to remember. She's edgy. She has blue hair and coordinated eyeshadow. She stands up to the man, and I love this design so much. This speaks to how edgy I wish I had been as a teen. I don't care, I love this. I'm basic. Where's my pumpkin spice? However, Ben is obviously really into her, and it's here that the expressions on the faces get a bit extreme. He looks so into her, but to the point where it looks like he's about to steal a lock of her hair. He needs to back up. Ito Faye needs to go sit somewhere else. So 20 pages in, we see Cadaverous again, menacingly eating a hot dog off of one of his claw fingers. He looks so cool otherwise. There's mechanoid suits everywhere. There's tubes along the walls. They've got this great dark red lighting, and he's just there eating a hot dog. Read the room, Cadaverous. You have voyeurs. There's a mysterious woman floating in one of the giant tubes, which is probably MJ. I mean, it had better be. Otherwise, the Abramses would have just killed off a beloved female character as motivation for the two male leads, which would be a big oof. But it really is probably her, also because write-ups for future issues say things like, you won't believe what Peter and MJ are up to next, unless that's just lies. So Cadaverous is staring at this giant Nora Freeze tube and saying things like, the search impossible without the key. So, who wants to call it now? Who wants to play Guess the Abrams twist? Clone Peter? Peter from an alternate universe? Peter from further ahead in the timeline? I want to see theories down those comments. If, guys, it's totally not Khan is anything to go by as a track record, we can guess this. I believe in us. Ben has a well-paneled nightmare about his mom and wakes up on the ceiling. He freaks out and Aunt May is like, cool, I'm gonna go back to bed. You go upstairs, check the attic, look underneath all of the pictures of your parents and the letters because there's something you need to see. And it's his father's Spider-Man costume. It looks like the one from the day his mom died. It looks like her blood is still on it. That'll help him never have nightmares again. Thanks, Aunt May. Still, he seems impressed and not traumatized, so who am I to judge? Whoa. What a way to find out that your dad was Spider-Man, because yeah, Pirate Peter didn't tell him. So we have our setup. Ben as a new young Spidey, enticing his father back to action as well, probably. Plus whatever Cadaverous is doing, cloning and eating more hot dogs. This comic was okay. It was neither terrible nor amazing. It was really middle of the road, but a strong middle. The kind of middle you'd read again. The thing is, the reviews for it are being very, very extra. Some are acting as if it reinvented the wheel and we should bow down before our new gods. There is also the idea in some circles that it should be judged less harshly because it is a first attempt, while others feel it should be judged more harshly because of the nepotistic element that allowed someone inexperienced to jump to the head of the line on a premier character, AU story though it may be, and that when someone puts themselves out there in that arena, they deserve the same level of criticism as anybody else. Some feel that the only thing keeping critics from calling this a fanfic is who wrote it, and that there are elements of it that could be read as very self-inserty. Some like to play a game. Imagine if this exact same story wasn't written by J.J. Abrams and his son, but by somebody else, who had suddenly put this comic forward with no prior experience. Would people call it a fanfic? Or fanficky, which is a term often used as an insult, which is honestly a very lazy critique because fanfiction is so widely ranging and there is so much of it that is amazing and well written. It plays with the assumption that all fanfic is bad and amateurish, which is a very surface level to go through. But most people rarely delve too deep into the subcultures they're talking about. even comics. I like to go deep. What can I say? I like to know what I'm talking about. I like to try at least. The goal behind this comic is to be a huge cash cow and to drive interest in Spider-Man and Marvel and comics, and they have shipped it to many stores. So the sales numbers are up, but that doesn't guarantee that it's going to translate into being bought by the next level of consumer. And if it does, it doesn't guarantee that those people are going to pick up the next issues or any other comic ever again. For those who do pick it up, it could admittedly be a good gateway easing into comics. It's not too aggressively experimental, it's familiar, and so are its tropes. It's a story made up of many archetypes that people recognize and enjoy. Some will also enjoy the paralleling of Ben and Peter's journey, and will be drawn into the breadcrumbs of what is Cadaverous' deal. I'm just waiting for the sympathetic backstory. I'm placing bets. I've got a sympathy pool. The question, as always, is will this just be a novelty, or will this translate into something long-term? For those who have read lots of comics, this one does stand up, but it also leaves many questions unanswered in terms of basic world building, and also connection or lack thereof to the rest of the Marvel Universe. If you've seen the heights which comics can reach, and those are the types of comics you like to read, those that push the envelope a little bit, then this one might not be for you. It also may not be for you if you don't like gimmicks, or if you're not really feeling the rationale behind why it exists. There are some who are really angered by the nepotistic elements, and who will be quite harsh with reviews like, "Ooh, so daddy bought you a comic," which in one sense is fair. It is a rather glaring display of the one true privilege that traverses all things, no matter what. Wealth. Still, one should always strive to critique the work and not the person. This comic really is a decent start, and for some, they're even gonna bump that up to good. And of course, it could pick up. This is only issue 1. And some are saying that it's one of the best Marvel comics they've read in a while. What do you think? Was this worth the hype? Worth the wait? Are you enjoying it, or do you find it derivative? Does Cadaverous sound like what you would have named a villain when you were 12 years old? Do you love Peter's hook hand? Are you as fixated on it as I am? Tell me the answers to all of that and whatever else you want down below. And while you're down there, please do all the YouTube things. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so that we never miss a vid. So that we never miss a vid, so that you never miss a vid. I can tell you what though, Ito Faye better have a starring role because I am never forgetting her name now. I was so snarky today. I hope that wasn't too much salt for you. Be sure to go drink some water. Still, I hope it put some pep in your step, and thanks so much for watching. I'm Sasha, and I'll see you again soon here on Casually Comics. Bye-bye.